playful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I've been 10 feet.
What's going on, people, man? We're back in the building. I hope everybody is blessed. I hope everybody is doing well. We're here for the Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest match preview. Guys, before we of course get into anything, make sure you do smash that like, make sure you share, and make sure you do subscribe to the channel. This was supposed to be a live video, but unfortunately I've been a little bit busy, so I said, you know what, gotta get the video out some way, shape or form. So I'm doing a pre-recorded video, so apologies for anybody who was going to tune in live, but yeah, we're here anyway regardless. But we'll be back. But yeah, man, you know, Liverpool now, you know, international break is done and dusted. Yeah, done and dusted. We've played 3 games so far. Won 3, no goals conceded. 7 goals scored. 7 goals scored in that time. If you guys watch my monthly review, you'll know that, you know, I spoke about, you know, the beginning Arne Slot's time, you know, things that he's done well, things that maybe he could do a little bit better, the team and, you know, players and etc. But all in all, again, if you haven't seen it, make sure you head on over there. It should be at the top of your screens now. Make sure you head on over there and watch that. But yeah, man, I think it's been good. You know what I mean? I think it's been good. I think it's a very good building block for Liverpool in order for us to kind of, you know, kick things on and kind of get the ball rolling. Obviously, 2 out of the 3 fixtures we've had, I think on any given day, or, you know, even under a different manager, we'd expect to win those games. But you have to go out and do that. You know, the Premier League isn't an easy league. You can't always guarantee wins. You know what I mean? I've seen the best of them, you know, lose to teams that you just think, wow, you know, what's kind of going on here? And, you know, under the new manager, under Slot, with, you know, the way that, you know, Liverpool fans, you know, especially have been waxing lyrical about the style of play and stuff like that. Listen, man, it's a good time. It's a good time, you know, right about now. But of course, this is where we kind of, you know, I wouldn't say put markers down. I think it's way too early for that. I think for me, markers, obviously, depending on how the league is obviously going by that point, right? But I think you start putting markers down later on in the season. But I think, you know, the fact that we have started so strong and the way that we have been playing, you know, and we've had 3 different types of opponents: Ipswich, Brentford and Manchester United. And I think now teams might just approach us a bit differently. Obviously, that's going to come with different challenges. It's going to come with new challenges. So it will be interesting to see, you know, how the team kind of, you know, adapt to all of that, how Arne Slot is able to adapt to that. We're now getting Carabao Cup football. We're now getting Champions League football. So there are, of course, going to be, you know, a lot of things, you know, coming into play. Now, obviously, our fixtures ain't like crazy. I think we've got like Forest, Wolves, West Ham thrown in there, Bournemouth, AC Milan, of course, in the Champions League. So no, I wouldn't say there's like, oh my goodness, we've got some real tough games, but we got some games where obviously, you know, there might be a few injuries potentially, you know, over the next coming weeks. So will we be able to navigate through those fixtures? I think that's what I'm kind of looking at this current moment in time, and I'm hoping, you know, to potentially see, you know, how Liverpool adapt to that. But listen, I'm hoping we come out of this October period, or I say October, sorry, this September period, you know, hoping we're coming out of it, you know, with all wins, to be honest with you. And I think it's achievable. You know, I think it is something that we can, you know, possibly achieve. So yeah, let's wait and see, and then, you know, of course, just take it from there. Obviously, as we know, we got the game against Forest. This is kind of like the predicted lineup that they've got, you know, for Liverpool. So this is just SofaScore, so nothing to really look at. But, you know, it was interesting to see what they predict to be Liverpool's lineup for the game. They've gone with the back 4-5, should I say? To be honest, it's the exact same team. As we've had in the first 3 games of the season. I've got no real problems with that, if I'm being totally honest with you. And then this is obviously how they've gone, you know, with Nottingham Forest, again playing kind of in a similar style, that 4-2-3-1. You can kind of see with their would I say, somewhat danger men players, or players that I'm looking at, you know, in terms of who could potentially hurt us in a game like this. You've got obviously Nico Williams coming back to Liverpool, former Liverpool player, of course, Alanga, Gibbs White, Hudson Odoi. I think those three in there, they're gonna try and cause some real problems, especially Gibbs White. You know, decent little player, done of course well for Nottingham Forest last season. Alanga is one of those players that, listen, quick, absolutely quick. Obviously, he's playing down Robertson's side, so Robertson or Simicast, whoever obviously plays in the game tomorrow, they're gonna have a tough time, you know, especially if you're gonna have players like Nico Williams who are gonna want to hit that ball down the line. They're gonna want to try and find that space, even to Hudson Odoi. Hudson Odoi is more, he can play ball to feet, can run in behind, of course, but he does play, you know, that ball into feet. He wants to run at you, kind of thing. So again, Trent just needs to make sure, you know, that he's just being, you know, just defensively sure, like he's been in the first 3 games. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Trent's been, you know, calm overall in these first, you know, 3 games. Couple moments, yes, here and there. But, you know, all in all, I think, you know, he's been fine. But yeah, I'm looking at Alanga. I'm looking at Gibbs White and Alanga potentially, because Alanga, if he does get the run on you, him playing them balls into, you know, Chris Wood could potentially be a little bit of a problem. So again, I expect, of course, Liverpool to get the victory, and you know, I'll speak on, you know, my score prediction at the end. But yeah, it's just one of those things just to kind of look out for. I think that's all it really is. It's just more depending on how they want to play, depending on how they want to kind of set up. But I think, you know, midfield is going to be a battle in terms of, if we can do what we've been doing in the first 3 games of the season, I believe that, you know, we'll gain a level of control. And then I don't envisage there being too many problems, especially at home, you know, to Nottingham Forest. And again, not to disrespect Nottingham Forest at all, but it's just how I think it should, you know, realistically go. But we all know that football is never played, you know, in that kind of way. Now, I was going to do, like, you know, do it more in depth, but listen, honest lot, you're doing your thing at like 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and that, like, ain't no one got no time to be up and listening to all of that. But obviously, here's a few of the key takeaways from the press conference. Big up Copper and Fracas, by the way. Alexis McAllister, he has trained and should be fit for tomorrow's game. You got Harvey Elliott. Obviously, we heard the news about him being out for around 6 to 8 weeks with a foot injury. And Chiesa, obviously, new signing at Liverpool from Juventus. He has trained 3 out of 4 times in, and is in contention for the match day squad. I believe he'll be in the squad anyway, at the bare minimum. Whether he comes on, obviously, I think that will more depend on the game state. Slot doesn't seem like a person who's just going to play a player just for the sake of playing a player, but, you know, who knows? We'll just have to kind of, you know, wait and see. Excuse me. Now, obviously, we all saw the whole Keller, people making a big deal out of it. I think myself and I think Savage as well, we spoke on this. I think it was Australia, but yeah, we spoke about this whole Keller situation and the way that people are kind of, at the time, just blown out of proportion, man. Like, you know, obviously, honest lot, he spoke on it as well. He said, Keller said he wants to leave, ? I would be worried if a player came out and said he loved it on the bench and wants to stay there for the rest of his life. I totally agree. I totally, like, who wants, I keep saying to people, nobody wants to sit on the bench. I know as fans, and I say this because this also comes down to play, like the outfield players, right? As fans, obviously, the way that we look at it is obviously, of course, different to the way that players are going to look at it. Because as fans, we just like, listen, we've got like every Liverpool fan has got an 11 in their head that they believe is the best 11 for Liverpool. Going to be different for every single individual. Some of us are going to have the same, whatever. But we've all got like a different kind of, you know, mentality and thinking. You know, obviously for the bigger goal in terms of making sure our team, or wanting our team to be successful. But in a general sense, we've all got this. So then outside of that, we've then got added on to that, we've then got the, oh, okay, well, who are the other players? So, i.e., who are the bench players? Players like Kelleher, players like maybe a Curtis Jones, or, you know, players of that kind of ilk, where you're like, okay, these guys are the bench guys. But if they, it's almost like people want everybody to be able to show what they can do every single time. And if they don't, then obviously we want everybody to leave, or, you know, well, why is he saying this and blah, blah, blah. But remember, players are looking at it thinking, listen, as a footballer, because that's what we can remember, it's you won, right? You didn't get into football. No one gets into football because they're trying to, you know, like they want to be a part of, no, obviously you're a part of a team, but you're getting into football for your own reasons. You don't care about the next man. Forget what the next man's, what he's about. That's got nothing to do with you. You are just focused on what you're trying to do. Obviously, it's not as a singular as like ping pong or tennis or, you know, badminton and stuff like that, of course, where it is on you to do anything kind of thing. You know, if the things don't work out for you, then it's peak. But the reality is you're always trying to make sure that you're at the top of your own game and you are playing whatnot. And if that helps the team, great. If it doesn't really matter because you still want to play, right? And Keller is in that same position. Ultimately, he's done good for Liverpool. You know what I mean? When he's come in, he's helped us out, you know, a lot of times, especially last season with Alisson's injury, but he wants to play. So the fact that he wants to play, I'm like, yeah, that's calm. Like, I've got no worries. I've got no problems with that. I don't look at him funny. Really, I think we should have sold him anyway by now, regardless. But you know what? We're here. Obviously, next season is a different season, and we'll take stock, you know, come that time. But bro, he's gonna leave anyway. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We're bringing in another goalkeeper, you know, so he's not gonna want to stay. He probably didn't even want to stay this time. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I feel like we probably kind of forced it a little bit and be like, look, just stay because you know you even though we got Yaros there, who could have potentially come in as a number 2. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know, with someone like Keller. So for me, I'm just like, it's not a big deal, but I get the media. I understand as to, you know, why, you know, they're always banging on about it kind of thing. The other bit of news that I did see was obviously the news about, you know, our new academy signing. Not Fabrizio, sorry. Sam posted this out. Obviously, this is on the Anfield sector, but he was just saying here, while Nguma's arrival won't necessarily be viewed as a big deal in the mainstream, it's one that has sent shockwaves through the academy community. Apparently, this is Edwards' "I'm back in town" type of signing, said one insider. It'd be interesting to see who this quote-unquote insider actually is. But listen, look, you know, from all the videos, all the highlights that I've seen, a couple of the guys that I've spoken to who are, you know, in and around the academy kind of scene as well, they said he's a really good player. But of course, I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? And it's not because he's not a first team player. It's just he knows. I don't need to tell him. He's got his, you know, parents or, you know, whoever he's got in and around him, you know, family, you know, and close friends and stuff like that. He knows what he needs to do in order for him to be potentially wearing that number 11 shirt that he's obviously, you know, got there. So he knows the kind of work, he knows the club that he's at, he understands, because I think there was a bit of a conversation with Chelsea, you know, because I actually don't think he wanted to leave Chelsea. From what I'm hearing anyway, I don't think it was a case of he wanted out of Chelsea. It was just more about, you know, is there a pathway for me to get into that first team? Because again, like I said, you know, as we spoke about with Keller, every footballer wants to play football, first team football. I don't want to sit on a bench. I don't want to, you know, I mean, obviously he's young, so he understands I need to bide my time, but I want to get there as quickly as I possibly can. Of course I do. And is there a way for me to get there, you know, potentially? At Chelsea, you know, he maybe just didn't see that, which is absolutely fine. Everyone's got their own right to, you know, see things how they want to see things, right? So he's obviously looked at the situation at Liverpool, the way that Liverpool kind of do things. We're not a club that likes to spend a lot of money, so we probably are going to be trying to look for a lot more academy products potentially over these next few years as well. We've got a couple, you know, of course, coming through, you know, at this current moment in time, a few players from the academy who are playing, you know, first team football. So maybe he's just looked at that and said, well, my chances are probably better here than they would be at Chelsea, where it's just not really like that, unless you are like a really top, you know, Estavio, you know, kind of player. Like, and obviously he's not of that level kind of thing, in my opinion. But, you know, if you're that kind of level status and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, fair enough. But if not, then, you know, how do I navigate my way, you know, through this whole youth system? And from what I've seen, he looks, like I say, he looks really, really good. He looks really, really good. So yeah, it's just about him knuckling down. The hard work begins today. Well, it began as soon as he signed. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now we need to try and push and see, you know, how close he can, you know, potentially get, you know, with that first team. But again, it's quite interesting to see the way that, you know, people are kind of portraying things and the way that people kind of see things. But hey, you know, it kind of is what it is. Moving on to obviously Arne Slot is one of 3 managers to win their first 3 games and concede no goals in the Premier League. The other 2 managers are Jose Mourinho and Sven-Göran Eriksson with Chelsea and Manchester City, respectively, should I say. So yeah, like I said before, you know, he's done a good job, man. The defense, just for me, I look at the defense and I'm not so worried anymore, you know, in terms of, listen, can I see improvement? Of course I can. I don't think it's, you know, I think we can get better players in certain positions, mainly one, so to speak. But in terms of the way that, Liverpool are playing at this current moment in time, the way that defensively how he wants the team to kind of set up. And it's not just about the defense, it's also the midfield and the attackers. You're seeing a lot more. It's more defend as a team, as a unit, as opposed to defend in sections and only you guys go here when the ball's over there, or a lot more scattergun kind of thing. That kind of scattergun approach I felt that we had, which obviously worked to some degree, under Jurgen Klopp. But this is what I've always spoke about, is in terms of a level of control. That's all that, and I love a level of control, because control the controllables. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I always feel like control the controllables, don't try and control the uncontrollables. And that's what, I always felt like, it kind of, was, before that. But hey, listen, as I said before, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. If we start on here, so obviously this is obviously from Nottingham Forest this season. Our head-to-head against them, pretty good as well. 8 victories for us, 2 for them, 3 draws in there. Forest, this season, conceded 3 goals so far this season. Conceded 2 goals actually this season so far. So doing all right. Scored 3 goals already. So yeah, they're doing okay in terms of, as a team and as a unit. But this season, I think also as well, speaking of Forest, I think like for them, this is a season where they're going to want to try and push on a little bit. They spend a lot of money, guys. Like they really do. They spend a lot of money and they're bringing in a lot of players. And it does seem to be quite a bit of a high turnover. Whether that's just, trying to, the ones where you're just trying to find the right formula. Obviously, understanding, listen, the longer we stay in the Premier League, the better it is for us, moving forward. Because then, of course, you don't want to get relegated and have all these players on these kind of wages and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I just think that's how I kind of look at them, at this current moment in time, is that it's almost like they're trying to find, that next formula, or, that right formula in order for them to, really start, pushing on. And their owner isn't afraid to spend money. So, once they get to a certain position, he might start getting techie, because if their owner's already spending money, obviously he wants to start looking for a return sometime soon. But, if he's already willing to spend, hey, that could be very, very tricky, for teams in the future. But of course, we'll wait and see. Obviously, this is my Liverpool 11. This is 11 that I would have gone for. Again, I've seen others. I'm really not fussed, to be honest with you. I think I'm more like, I just want to see. I want to see what different things kind of look like. So more than this wasn't even me really looking at the game. It was more like, okay, I want to see something different now. And obviously, I've gone with a back 4. Obviously the same, except for Konate out for Kwanzaa. Again, still don't trust Konate. I really don't trust him in terms of fitness and health. I do think that he's a player that you really do need to make sure you manage pretty well, not just wait until he breaks down and then, you're trying to bring in a Kwanzaa. No, I feel like this is a game that you can potentially, play a Kwanzaa. I would understand playing Konate because against Chris Wood, the aerial threats into the box. But yeah, again, it all really just does kind of, defend. I think, if Hudson-Odoi is on that side, I feel like, Kwanzaa and Trent should be able to kind of deal with that. But listen, I'm not going to be fussed too tough. I haven't put Simicast yet. Haven't put him yet. I didn't want to change the defense too much because again, they have got 3 clean sheets in the last. Yeah, I mean, so I didn't want to take out 2 players and then put in 2. Like, let's just maybe pick one. So if you guys feel like Simicast should be someone who should play, again, I'm not beefing you, over that. In the back, in the midfield 3, I've gone with Bozolai, Gravenberch, and Curtis Jones. I've gone Jones in for McAllister just because, again, I know McAllister picked up that little bit of an injury. Jones is back fit. I said, why not? Why not rotate it? You can always, obviously, we've got the midweek game against AC Milan as well in the Champions League. So I said, yeah, that could be a perfect game to bring McAllister back, into the fold because I feel like we're going to need him away at the San Siro. I think it's away. Might be at home, actually. Can't remember. Up front, I've gone with Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, and Luis Diaz. Jota has been a little bit, you know what I mean? Like so far this season, he's just like Jota's Jota at the end of the day, but he has been a little bit, So I was like, let's try something different. Let's have Cody Gakpo go up top. Maybe he can potentially link up pretty well with, someone like Luis Diaz, and they can potentially even rotate between each other in terms of Gakpo might go out onto the left and Diaz might, play through the middle. Again, if you want Chiesa in there, I'm not. Chiesa was the other one I thought about. Maybe he can go up front in almost that kind of false 90 kind of role, but I don't really see him as a striker who's going to occupy defenses. And I feel like you do kind of need that at times, and I don't think he can do that very well. So, yeah, that's why I've gone with that 11. Again, I'm not beefing no one over the 11s. If you feel it should be up players, by all means, pick whoever you want. I saw this. Obviously, Salah, 10th all-time Premier League, most goals scored in the Premier League era. Please don't tell me about anybody before the Premier League because we don't care. Talking about the Premier League. The Premier League started in 92. That's all anybody cares about. Ain't nobody care about what happened in the flipping 70s and 60s and that. No offense. No offense. Because I know there's some ballers, you know what I'm saying? But we're talking about now. Obviously, Mo. There's a few names on there that I was laughing at, that I was LOLing at. Jermaine Defoe was one of them. The other one I think I saw, it might not have been in the top 10, but I remember looking at Jermaine Defoe thinking, bloody hell, man's on 162 and Salah's only 2 behind that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's crazy. Robbie Fowler as well. Injuries, man, that guy would have had more goals, man. Definitely. I feel like, I can't lie, I feel like Robbie Fowler would be a lot closer to Wayne Rooney, in my opinion, if had he not been so, had so many injuries. He definitely would have scored more goals than Thierry Henry did if he didn't have the injuries, considering how young he started and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like that would have happened. But it's banging to see Mo there. Crazy to think though. Look at Mo and then look at Alan Shearer. That's 100 goals. I don't see Mo getting there. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't see a world where that happens. 100 goals, like 101 goals really to beat it, but 101 goals are like you ain't. I don't see that happening. You'd have to stay for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, he's got 160 now. Doing 8. Yeah, nah. I don't see it. I don't see it. But obviously, some greats in there. My guy Thierry Henry. Very impressive to see Frank Lampard is on there. Is that the only midfielder? Yeah, that's mad. A midfielder is 6th on the list, ahead of Thierry Henry, Robbie Fowler, Jermaine Defoe, the Michael Owens, and the Teddy Sheringham's, the Dwight Yorks, and listen, that's mad. Big respect to Frank Lampard, man. Big respect to Frank Lampard. Obviously, Wayne on 208. It's crazy because obviously Harry Kane is 2nd on the list. All top 4 are all English strikers. So English players doing themselves kind of proud. But yeah, man, I thought like it was interesting to see that. And you guys let me know in the comment section if you think that Mo Salah will be able to break it. But in regards to my score prediction, I would say Liverpool. I think we concede our first goal, so I'll say 2-1. No, I'll go 3-1. 3-1. I think 3-1. I think 3-1. 2-goal lead anyway over them. But I do see them scoring. But then again, I said that about the other teams. So hopefully they don't and we keep the clean sheet. I think Arne Slot would become the first manager in English football to ever have done that, to have played his first 4 Premier League games and not concede a goal. I think they could maybe Jose Mourinho, but I'd have to double check. But I feel like he would be the first one and win, by the way, not just not concede, but and win their first 4 games. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to go with 3-1 in the game. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, of course, in the comment section. And I will catch you guys later for the match reaction. Peace.